Opinions. Hmm. So our show's producer, Chris Thompson, sent this to, I don't know if he sent this to our group chat, but he definitely sent this story to me. Anti-KKK law was used to end a black scholarship at UC San Diego. This is something that we talked about prior to the election. Remind me the name of your friend Q, the lady that did the Fearless Fund. What's her name?
Her name is Ariane Simone.
Arian Simone. That's right. So she was sued by a gentleman. I forget his name, and it doesn't really, I'm not going to try to make him famous or anything. And his organization. And the premise of the lawsuit was that she was discriminating against, I think, white men or something like that. Or somehow he made white men. He used the language of the civil rights protections to protect the people that have always been protected and indeed need no protection. And so this is something that we've been watching since back then, because this gentleman, whose name escapes me right now, but he's got a whole company, an organization rather, I should say, that does this. They go after initiatives that are meant to uplift black people, Hispanic people, handicapped people, women, LGBTQIA plus individuals, and
All
tries to,
traditionally marginalized communities.
thank you. Yep. And he tries to make it to where everybody qualifies for everything, knowing that that type of framework in a society, in this society, tends to benefit white men more than everyone else, which is why all these individual organizations exist to speak to the issues and the deficiencies that the government has indeed overlooked or refuses to acknowledge that really do impact like the material outcomes for these communities, right? So AIDS awareness outreach, while it disproportionately affects gay men, and the effort should be concentrated in that arena. Now it has to be shared widely. That's not a specific example. That's just kind of a what is the word I'm looking for? Like an analogy or something that hasn't happened. I don't want to mislead anyone. So so this story is kind of more of that, where this anti-KKK law was used to end a black scholarship at UC San Diego. San Diego. So I'll share this from BIN. A 19th century law created to protect black Americans from racist violence has been invoked to end a scholarship program meant for black students at the University of California, San Diego. According to the Washington Post, the Pacific Legal Foundation, a conservative law firm, I think that's actually his foundation. Oh, no, I don't think it is. Never mind. The Pacific Legal Foundation, a conservative law firm, successfully argued that the scholarship program violated the Ku Klux Klan Act of 1871, a law passed after the Civil War to shield newly freed black Americans from white supremacist intimidation and discrimination. The foundation represented Kai Peters, a white transfer student who was ineligible for the scholarship, arguing that the program violated his civil rights. Quote, "We're simply trying to ensure that promise of equal protection is granted to everyone," unquote, Jack Brown, an attorney for the firm, said. Legal scholars say the lawsuit weaponized a law meant to protect black people to instead dismantle a program designed to support them. Quote, "It's an attack on private efforts to use money to pursue what you consider a social justice purpose," unquote. Kara McClellan, a University of Pennsylvania law professor, said. She goes on to say, "They're flipping the purpose of the law on its face. The decision forces UC San Diego to open the scholarship to all students, effectively ending its mission to assist black scholars. Experts say it reflects a broader national trend of targeting race-conscious programs in higher education amid the Trump administration's rollback of diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives." Quote, "It's their spin, right? That these types of scholarships are somehow fostering discrimination, when in reality, the intent is the exact opposite," unquote. Julie Park, a professor at the University of Maryland, said in a statement. Okay. So I want to give you plenty of time here, Q. Your reflections and anything else I'll shoehorn in at the end.
This This has been an incredibly frustrating thing since its inception.
Hmm.
And you pointed it out, Aryan being sued, institutions of higher learning being sued.
Hmm.
All of these practices and foundations and organizations and scholarships came to be when Black people were being systemically denied access to everything: food, healthcare, education, etc. And these legal scholars know that, which is why they say it. And these organizations that are dismantling these programs know it. And they're using a really strange loophole to interpret these laws in a way that just take us back to before these things existed, as if we're in a post-racial society. And they're not even arguing we no longer need these protections because we made progress. They're just flipping it completely on its head and saying, no, 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 this stuff is actually racist against white people. And successfully using that position, and I say successfully because they've won on some of these cases. Affirmative action effectively dismantled, DEI across the corporate landscape done away with. The nefarious and evil tactic being used here to say, well, if it's equal for everybody, if it's equity for everybody, then you shouldn't have a program that just helps women, even though all programs almost help men more. You shouldn't have a program that just helps people of color, even though all programs by themselves almost always help white people more. You shouldn't have a program that you shouldn't. I'm really waiting because I know it's going to go there. They've gotten this extreme for there to be a law where they make it where you shouldn't have ramps for handicapped people in wheelchairs. Like, I'm waiting for that ridiculous point of view to be argued, right? Everyone should have the same access. So if they can't use the stairs, that's on them. Like some really mean, vile, evil, intentional thing like that. It seems like those in power want all the power, all the access, all the resources. And they know that they're the ones that have the most access to it already, but they're going to do the pretend victim thing, the thing they accuse us of, to take things away from people who already don't have much. It's really, the more we talk about it, the more I go from lighthearted to kind of angry. So I'll concede.
Yeah. It's really tough. I think that a lot of these people, they look at, in order to, because I feel like on some level, everybody kind of has to get it, right? Well, these things tend to happen more in this community than in this community, and those things tend to happen less in this community than that other community, right? So on some level, everybody gets it. But by hyperfixating on individuals, as opposed to like systemic data, and outcomes for like groups and populations in this country, by hyper focusing on the individuals, it allows them some cover to uh, not only um, allow their racism to like fester, but to share racist ideas with people who I believe maybe have an appetite for that. People that are looking for an excuse to blame somebody else on why they never became a rock star or astronaut or a millionaire or whatever, right? And for a lot of people in this country, white men in particular, I'll say, the idea of the American dream, I'm sure it seemed a lot more realistic for them than it did for the rest of us. We were just like, look, man, if you go to the NBA or win the lottery, then that's really the only way out of here, right? Because once upon a time, I know that that was really a widely shared sentiment. Nowadays, things have, this is a post-Obama society, so things have gotten better, but we're still looking at the data, and the data has a long way to go. So when you've been taught, and this is why it's damaging for white men, when you've been taught that the world is yours and you can achieve the American dream, and billionaires have been very good at taking it from you and helping you blame other people for it, then you're looking for an excuse to justify your position in the world, and you're looking for someone to blame, and you're fertile ground for people that are weaponizing these anti-KKK laws to free up more funds away from really vulnerable communities that need it. Um, so yeah, um, it's unfortunate, but they're up right now, and we have to watch it as it happens. It's really sad.